Okay, so hopefully we're. Oh yeah. They can see the.
Yeah, they can see the stream. So I do know that Isaiah on the right, he normally plays current format. I'm pretty familiar with that, so it's nice seeing him play a little bit of Edison here. A lot of my friends down here in South Florida that normally play the current format are here today, so it's pretty cool.
So yeah, it just we're coming in turn two, I think, but judging from he set frog turn one. On the left is Isaiah. Is that
No, on the right is Isaiah.
okay? We got
Yeah, the guy. Yes.
And so yeah, Isaiah said frog.
Set Sangan, set bottomless. Should be for Caius.
Yeah. So that and now he sets back against it.
And then we can see some of Isaiah's hand. He just summoned Toad. He has a dandelion in his hand. We saw.
Yeah.
Since he has a treeborn in the graveyard, I imagine he has a chainable back row.
Yeah, usually they play like mostly discard traps, like Regeki Break or something. He set the Treeborn turn one. So because he set the Treeborn turn one, I might think that it's not a discard trap because usually you would maybe like pitch.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's a chainable. It could be like an MST, but I feel like
it could honestly be like a torrential. I think
a torrential wouldn't be a bad read either.
That's like because they also don't play that many traps. Like it's like torrential. Mirror Force,
and then the discards, right?
And then sometimes they play like the draw, like Legacy.
Okay,
draw one.
It could be one of those
two. That's pretty uncommon, I would say, to play those.
Okay.
So I think if it were me, more than likely torrential, because even setting Mirror Force there,
I mean, is like we'll probably find out now. Right, so it's looking like his opponent also does have a heavy storm in his hand, so that's something to keep in mind for later in the game. It's nice getting to see some of the hand. We'll see if we can get this last camera up. Oh, I guess the Reiko ended up just going for the swamp frog.
Yeah, I mean sometimes like when they can loot by
just keep getting resources out of the frog, you may want to get
exactly.
It out.
Get that straight. Yeah. So Reiko hit the swap, and then
it looked like the player on the left set hamster from his hand.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, we can kind of see his hand.
Yeah. Quackimero Guardian. What deck would be playing that? See, this is where I'm going to start asking questions because I saw some generic cards at first.
Yeah. I was curious what he's playing too because like Sangan, right? Like honestly, even Sangan is like not that commonly played.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's one of those cards also that was played a lot in 2010, like in Edison.
But it isn't in modern Edison
it's
anymore.
Like kind of thing.
Oh,
perfect. So yeah, I mean, like I said, but like sort of gonna be like not like we playing three of this. You play.
Yeah. All right. So this is Isaiah, which is going to be our duelist on the right, and then this is going to be our duelist on the left. Nile.
Without even looking at that, I'll tell you that the only deck that really plays Quackimero Guardian is, I mean, obviously these rock decks, but it plays a Dark Gaia, which is like a big fusion monster. You summon up Dark Calling, which is basically the same as Miracle Fusion. Banish 2 from grave. Banishes a rock and a fiend, and then the guy that comes out is the combined attack of those two.
Okay.
So if you banish like a Guardian and a Caius, it's 43.
So it's just trying to use Dark Calling as like a bomb late in the game.
Exactly. And because the Dark Gaia that comes out, when it attacks, it like switches all their monsters to attack, basically.
Okay.
So it can get in for a lot of damage over.
Yeah, especially if like there's a floating tree board or something like that.
And so people play it in different ways, but I mean, this way with playing the right is like just trying to fill your grave with those rocks and fiends, and then here. So he has the Dark Calling.
All right. And then he did mill a Guardian earlier, so he's going to do that exact play you were talking about, actually, with the.
And he has a token on the field, so
with those two dandy tokens. Yeah, that would be a big swing for sure. Just
so you can see the life at the top. Get this. Matter in a different way, but yeah. So still at 8,000 left. So this is not going to be lethal. Although like randomly sometimes I do not think he will here, but they play like weird shit more.
Okay, so just like boost his guy.
So this just goes over that.
So interesting.
It was a token. It was also a token. I thought it was just that monster.
Okay, so can then Does it do piercing or does it turn into
It
attack?
just turns it to attack.
Oh, when it attacks? Oh, okay.
It's like a trigger.
Okay, so I was like, maybe he just forgot to use the effect, but no, okay, it happens when he swings.
Yeah.
All right, turns it to
I
attack.
think it'd be turn to turn.
If it turns all of them to attack, that would be a really big turn because that would be 62 damage. He puts
Yeah.
his opponent on a one swing turn.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's. Yeah, exactly. It does turn all of them to attack. So yeah, he took exactly.
Okay, yeah,
Um.
yeah. So we have Isaiah here on the right, which is at 18, and then now looks like
Yeah.
he's in a pretty commanding position.
But yeah, I mean, here's the hard thing: is like he kind of used. I mean, the Guardian, which did you reveal for it?
Yeah, he revealed something for it.
Yeah.
I couldn't recognize the rock myself. Let's see, what does he have in here?
I mean, he has Dinah for sure.
He has Dinah.
The Gaia plate card.
It could have been a Gigantus.
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah, or a Gaia plate.
But it's pretty awkward spot. I mean, he's handling that brain and definitely will be using that brain this turn because
Yeah.
also that's a crazy crackback against the Dark Gaia specifically because it's just like they make this huge monster.
And then you take the monster.
Um,
Is there any world where you take the Guardian and swing? Yeah, there's tribute for Caius. And then that way you can try and banish the Dark Gaia and burn them for 1,000. And then maybe deal with the backdrop.
Dark Gaia is actually here.
Oh, it's an Earth, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. See, I would have definitely thought with a name like Dark Gaia for sure.
Yeah. What was funny, just for stupid niche interactions that if you never enter it as a part of it, we'll never
You'll never be aware of.
But if he took the Dark Gaia and swung over the Guardian, even though there's no set monsters on or defensive monsters, Gaia will still trigger. He could probably negate it with the Guardian.
Oh, yeah. Niche interaction.
For when you load up the
you give your opponent a chance to misplay in situations like that. Sometimes that's like the win condition.
Yeah, if he didn't have the Caius in hand, like that would be the play, right? Like he
Yeah.
takes it, and if he doesn't know the ruling, then he takes whatever force.
So it looks like it was a Gigantus and then his own Caius for the crackback.
Yep, and that he's at 1,000 because he paid his brain.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and so
And then
the
that was game.
Dark Gaia deck wins. Game.
Yeah, just from like being able to swing for so much damage on that like past turn, even though he invested a lot of his cards, he probably have the Caius with Gigantus in his hand, and that should probably be enough to win the game.
It definitely I don't know if I would fully say it as like a good matchup against frogs, but I mean, as you can see, you kind of get to main a bunch of cards that are naturally good against it, like Dinah, Guardian. Sometimes they play Doom Cal. I don't think he is, but like
he could be siding it.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I don't see one in the side deck.
But yeah, these decks are basically just like good stuff. The Raikou Caius engine, and then kind of like all these weird like stun monsters with a couple of bombs.
Rock monsters.
You can definitely draw some pretty like awkward hands, but like I was talking about it earlier because I saw someone playing it at the locals last night. I don't know if it was him or someone else, but right now there's a lot of combo decks getting popular. Like I was saying, the Gigaplant deck.
Okay.
There's like more combo frog.
Is this the Death Frog version?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've heard about that deck.
So that deck's getting popular too, and so these decks that can naturally main Guardian, Dinah, like sort of well positioned, you could say. It's still like a little bit of an underpowered deck, but like
if
there's
go
ever a time,
first, or they can set up before the other deck and feel like they do have an advantage in those situations.
So it's side deck stuff.
Yeah, anything interesting here? I'm not sure what would be normal. I feel like the side decks are a little different back in the day.
Oh yeah, the 1-ofs and there's no like going
Strix going
like
first cards
exactly.
or going second.
That's like
all utility.
That's like one of the biggest like I don't know pet peeves, but like when people because I was like some like coaching stuff too, but when people talk or just current players that come back and I talk to like even friends of mine that play a lot and they're like, well, I'm putting this in because I'm going first or putting this in because I'm going second. It's like that's true to an extent, but the games are often go not so long, but like are just more than the like first opening couple back and forth. So it's like putting in cards that you have cards that can be really good going first, but then like you draw them turn 4 and like they're not very good. And so it's like
Dust Shoot, for example.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
Dust
Shoot's a funny example. Yeah,
going first card in a format like this, but I have seen people keep it in going second because of the
for sure.
power up of the
Yes,
card.
exactly. That's almost like the inverse example where you would think it's only good going first, but because of the
Card
power of it-
knowledge, yeah.
yeah, and like because decks aren't just like slamming everything on board all at once. Usually, you can still catch people on it turn.
Yeah, and if you want to play around like dust shoot like proactively throughout the whole game, you're probably going to need to be setting a lot of your hands.
Yeah.
So you're playing into like another one of like storm.
Yeah.
So like you don't want to be doing things like that.
Yeah, that's in like Goat. You see people Goat format. You do that because people play 3 dust shoot sometimes, and like people will do a lot of stuff. Like they'll basically play around dust shoot the entire game, like set stuff.
Yeah,
up.
and just make it like make the card try and make the card irrelevant.
Yeah.
So like if you have a dead card like that, it's really disadvantageous in these games that like drag out besides the first few turns.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean the going first, going second dynamic in this is funny because it's like with all these combo decks getting more popular lately, I feel like it is becoming more like focused on that. Like it would be more reasonable to have like very, very different side plans going first, going second against those decks, especially or playing those decks. But in most of these like more control matchups, like I think it is not that relevant. Like
Yeah, like as you see, he just made like a simple play with like Stratos Search Prodigy, like just giving himself like a good follow up. I feel like Stratos is one of the better normal summons in this format, right?
for sure.
Like
Yeah, for sure.
just an 18 stick that also like gets to search, and then on occasion if you're playing a more hero centric deck, like getting to blow up back row, I feel like
When the screen
the here. That way we can look at the chat.
yeah, I was looking on my phone, but yeah, he troopers over the Stratos.
Yeah, and then Gore's being out of his deck is kind of nice for Isaiah here, just because he doesn't have to play around for the rest of the.
Yours is good that it's out of his deck, but it is also a fiend in
Oh, so it loads up for Dark Hole. And I think that's Dinah under. I think that looks like Dinah that's under the trap card.
I think you're.
So that means Dark Calling is at least live whenever he draws it.
Yeah.
If he wants to make a big push at some point.
I'm seeing the chat now. What's up, guys?
All right, perfect. You got him.
And yeah, I mean, if anything's really messing up, we're gonna keep tabs on it, but you can let us know in there, and we'll try to fix it.
And this Rise, I'm not sure what it targeted. I imagine it was the Torrential, and then he just Torrentialed the Card Trooper.
Summoning. You said you know Isaiah from playing Modern.
Yes, he plays a lot of Modern.
It's funny that he's like paying attention to the zones.
Yeah.
Like it's always just like
I think that's Modern players like not Kryptonite, but I'd say more like a habit, kind of like how card shuffling to all of ours.
yeah.
I feel like back in the day, and I was hoping of this too, is eventually you just start putting all your back row towards the middle as you use them. You're just like, let me just put this towards the middle. Are you swung over my monster? All right, I'm going to put this one, just so everything was aligned in center. Personally, it took me a while to like get used to everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny. I feel like when I've played current at all, and like very occasionally, I'll try to like just mess around with some deck or something. But I feel like I over fixate on it. Like when I like first of all, I often would make a mistake with it, just naturally. But then when it comes to setting stuff in the back row, like I end up like way psyching myself because I'm like, okay, on their turn, if they were to set the imperm, like where would they set? Like like I have to like it ends up being like like
you try to mind game yourself because they're probably going to mind game you. And so sometimes that like happens, I think, to everyone, and I just be like, all right, I'm just not even gonna look. I'm gonna shuffle them all and just like set them, and it's fine. Like, go ahead. Like, neither of us are gonna know. When you have something that I'm gonna respond to, I'll check.
Yeah.
But until then, it's gonna be completely unknown.
Yeah. So now you got the ocean and cracking into face down.
Yeah, swinging into 2 back row.
Yeah, it's pretty minimal back row. I mean, he does have prisons in there, and see with the side.
Yeah, he has a couple prisons, but nothing too crazy for back row.
Yeah, I mean,
Just the standard stuff, honestly.
these decks with the Dark Eye are usually playing like really monster heavy, because they need the
Speaking of good traps, we see both Mirror Forces gone.
yeah.
And those were two good one-ups rolled off the top, Gale
Yeah.
and Grand Mole.
Grandmole, again a rock. I mean he already has the Dino, which is bigger attack, but he has most of the Dark Calling.
I did see he has a return and Dark Calling, so with the Grand Mole.
He just tight,
Oh,
which is actually crazy. Because
That would
it
be
not
really-
only clears the ocean,
it stops a Miracle Fusion also.
Stuff that are going to banish the tree ones. I think he drew the Kyogre.
Yeah, it looked like it was
Yeah.
a Kaiku.
And he does have.
Is there multiple Treeborns in grave? Because hitting multiple Treeborns in grave would be.
It's kind of just lights out.
Yeah, it might just be a quick 2-0 if that happens.
Oh, it's Kyogre.
It's Kaiku, Dark Gaia, and I think
Dude, if he just goes Kaiku and use the, because one thing about the Kaiku too, if he summons the Kaiku, he uses Dark Calling, he can't crow it.
yeah. That's true. Also helping play around that. See, if he had the return set, he could have just gone for game this turn. So he's probably deciding if he wants to just play it slow this turn and then try and go for a big push on the following turn, or just trying to
Yeah, I mean,
put some pressure on now.
because with return also, he would be able to get back the Nina, so we turn off all the like doors, Battle Fader.
Exactly.
But I mean, even if he doesn't play the Dark Calling, which he honestly might not, like just I don't know if he gets like brain crack or something, but like
If he wants to play around that, I think it's fine.
yeah,
Um,
I think he has called first. But I think he's definitely gonna use the
Okay.
Kyogre, right? Like
Guardian was a good hit, so
Built
he
a
could
bunch of rocks.
okay, he has a bunch of rocks. He needs a second fiend in there
That's fair.
for the late game.
Yeah, I mean, funny that he went for the
Trooper?
to me.
What would you have gone in his situation with like at least what we know now?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know he had the call. So I mean, I feel like I might have just gone like normal skin Kaiku, use the Dark Calling, banish the Gores, and maybe just the Mole, because then you could keep the Dyna for the call, and you don't even necessarily have to use the call right away. You could even chain into something on his turn if you want.
Yeah, you could try and use it like defensively. And we see he has a Econ Swap Frog Miracle.
Oh, yeah,
Fusion.
this in hand. I didn't realize he had that in hand. So wait, this is
this?
okay. Yeah, see this. So this might just be game now because. So okay, that card is like you banish 2 rocks from grave.
Okay, so it's a chaos monster essentially.
Yeah, and then its effect is like when it swings, when it battles, the other monster gets like out attack and defense or something.
Okay.
And then you have to. There's sort of like a upkeep cut, like you have to banish a rock from your grave
Like an
during
upkeep.
your standby or something. But it's also 2800 attack, so really they just play it so when you mill it,
It's just
It's
a
just
big
really
body.
big.
Yeah.
But I think that's also why he went for the trooper because
He wanted to fuel it, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of fodder now because he ended up milling
Yeah.
the Guardian and two Gigantus. Yeah.
It was great.
Well, that looked like it was a great Kaiku also. This
Yeah.
game's probably
I
over at
think
this
it's just
point.
too much pressure because I can see he has Miracle Econ, but the Econ's not really going to do that much with
With no access to
yeah.
a tree board from the graveyard.
I can't tell if you set this card. I think it might be this card released from the stone. I think
Released from the stone.
Which is
Okay,
just
what did
like-
that do.
that's like it's like call the on it, but for banish monster, return 1 banish monster to your field.
Okay.
And a rock monster.
Okay, so it's like a dark eruption but for rocks.
Yeah.
I know some old cards.
Yeah. So he could do the same thing I kind of said, like get Dyna back to interrupt
Yeah.
play.
Or he could get a guardian back if he wants like a monster disruption too, if necessary.
But yeah, it's looking pretty over. If it is that, I would say it's especially over. But I think he. But he can't.
Well, I think he's about to tell him because yeah. So
if he had a hero and a swap on the board, then you could do it from field. But not.
So, for my curiosity, if he uses Swap Frog, bounce itself back to hand, normal summons the Duke Frog, and then Econs the Duke Frog. Will the Duke Frog trigger search?
No.
No mistiming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if that happens, then he's able to get a Swap Frog into circulation again.
Yeah.
And then
take the Kaiku here, so that means he will be able to use a miracle. But if I could be just saying it could not be that release of stone card, but if it is, he could just chain that, get back the Dyna. I think that's kind of why he banished the Dyna in the first place.
That would be a great play. He's been playing his deck very well this whole match. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a deck that I've kind of in my head been like, oh, that could be good right now, but it's kind of like hard to build correctly and kind of relies on a lot of things going right. But it's cool to watch also.
I like the idea of Gigantus too into like a Blackwing heavy format, just because it's bigger than all of the Blackwings, like on normal summon, and if they want to collude it, then you clear their back row. So like
That's true.
it's a bad interaction for them either way, and it's just a free body on your end.
Oh, it's true.
Oh, it's just return, but
It's still pretty funny.
it's gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
He's gonna get Dyna and Guardian back, so
Yeah. And now, I mean, I don't think the Guardian tribute will be relevant, but like,
it shouldn't. But he has his opponent on such little life at this point. We know the last card in his hand. Well, we do as commentators.
yeah,
Is not going to change the game state. So he could swing over the card trooper or the Dyna if he wants. But
yeah,
I don't think it'll make a difference.
yeah. He doesn't. I think but if he swung over the Dyna and had a second miracle, I mean, that would maybe do something. But like,
Yeah, it would at least keep him alive and like put the pressure back on to like out the Ab-Zero in a positive way.
yeah, his last turn is a dark calling anyway. It's kind of funny he didn't go for game last turn.
Yeah, with the push he had, I thought he would go for game, or he would at least like set the return so he could have a game push on the following turn.
Oh, did he negate
He Guardian.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
I think at this point it's over
It's just-
because
yeah, like
he's just gonna dark calling. There's
would have gotten the Gaiku back, so I mean whatever, but it just can't.
yeah. Like the dark calling here with the Gores and the Guardian, what is that? So it's 27-19. So that's gaining 46. And then it has 0 attacks, it just goes to 46.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's like original attack.
Yeah. So that would be game because it's looking like Isaiah's at 57. If you just start calling, banishing those two. And there's battle phase. We know there's no battle fader in his hand.
I think maybe if he's at 57 right now, and maybe I missed this part, but like he swung over with Kaiju or whatever, but I think maybe he didn't attack direct,
He might have not
Yeah, to play on the Gores.
respect the Gores.
which would be kind of a good play because he basically had the full setup the next turn anyway. So
Yeah.
and then he drew Dyna for turn.
Yeah, he drew down for turn, so it guarantees it.
Yeah, sure.
Quick match.
Yeah, shaking his head, but I think that's kind of all you can do with that situation.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like I don't know.
It's a very
tier
weird
3
matchup.
deck.
It's a
that
very
kinda,
weird
counters
matchup,
you,
too.
and yeah. It's a funny one.
Yeah. It can be frustrating, but as you saw, he was able to maneuver his deck very well in that
For
matchup.
sure. I mean,
It showed the power of his cards too.
that the interactions, like some of them play, even though in that case it was return, but some of them play 3 of that release from the stone card.
Okay.
Like kind of for this like weird like reverse toolbox thing where you're like banishing all your rocks and then like you can use them to kind of interrupt their plays.
Depending on how your opponent starts their turn, you could get
Yeah.
back a Dino or a Guardian.
Yeah, you could like standby phase, get back a guardian if you think their first action. You like
A strong normal summon, like, or if they go Rhoda, you could be like, all right, summon Guardian, because now your Stratos, Gruffer, or Armageddon Knight's just not